The world listens for words. But Sigma INFJs? They listen for energy. They don't just hear what's said, they feel what's meant. In a room full of chatter, they're not drawn to volume, they're drawn to vibration. To the subtle shift in atmosphere when someone walks in. To the pause before a lie. To the smile that feels off. Sigma INFJs don't just read energy. They speak it. They radiate it. And often, they're changing the emotional climate of a space without saying a single word. Part 1. Energy as a first language. From early on, Sigma INFJs realized something: words could lie, but energy never did. They'd watch people say one thing while feeling another. Hear polite laughter wrapped in quiet sadness. Witness excitement expressed in a tone that felt forced. Most didn't notice. But they did. Always. Not because they were trying, but because their entire system was wired for this. Sigma INFJs over time develop a unique power. A felt sense. A tuning fork. A knowing. They become fluent in the undercurrent, the invisible layer of every moment that most people never perceive. Part 2. Perception without proof. There's a frustration that comes with this gift. Because energy doesn't leave evidence. Sigma INFJs might say, "Something feels off," only to be told they're imagining things. But time and time again, their intuition proves right. That friend really was hiding something. That situation really was misaligned. That person they quietly distanced themselves from eventually showed why. They've learned to trust it, not blindly, but deeply. Because while others wait for signs, Sigma INFJs feel the truth before it ever surfaces. Part 3. Atmosphere sensitivity. Being tuned to energy means Sigma INFJs are sensitive to environments. Not in a fragile way, but in a perceptive way. They walk into a room and immediately register the emotional temperature. They know if there's tension lingering from a previous argument. They sense if someone in the group is drained or silently struggling. And because they're often the unspoken emotional anchor in social settings, they unconsciously start balancing the room. They might shift the subject, create space for someone to breathe, pull back their own intensity if the group feels chaotic. It's not manipulation. It's not performance. It's attunement, precise and powerful. Part 4 are the energy they radiate. But it's not just about what they absorb. Sigma INFJs also radiate energy. And what they emit is unforgettable. Their calm changes the room. Their stillness reorders the chaos. Their presence, even in silence, demands depth. It's not forceful. It's not flashy. It's not designed to impress. But people feel it. Like gravity. Like warmth. Like standing near a truth you can't explain. Some are drawn to it instantly. Others are rattled by it because it reflects everything they're not ready to face. Part 5. Empathy without absorption. One of the biggest misconceptions about Sigma INFJs is that they absorb everything. But that's not quite true. They feel deeply, yes. But they're not emotional sponges. They don't get lost in other storms. Unlike typical empaths, Sigma INFJs have boundaries carved from solitude and self-understanding. They sense everything, but choose what to carry. They read the room, but don't merge with it. This distinction is crucial. Their energetic awareness isn't a weakness. It's their edge, sharpened by clarity, not clouded by chaos. Part 6. Why people react so strongly. People often don't understand why they feel so intensely around a Sigma INFJ. Some feel safe, like they've finally been seen. Others feel exposed, like their mask cracked open without warning. That's what happens when you're around someone who listens with their energy. Someone who responds to what's behind the words, not just the performance. Someone whose presence doesn't tolerate pretense, because their frequency is too honest for that. The Sigma INFJ doesn't mean to trigger anyone. But they do. Because being around someone so attuned is disarming. And disarming people means revealing them, even when they didn't ask for it. Part 7. Why this power must be protected. Not everyone deserves access to this energy. Sigma INFJs have learned that the hard way. They've walked into rooms and immediately known. This space isn't safe. This person wants something I'm not offering. This dynamic will drain me. And when they ignored it, when they gave people the benefit of the doubt, they paid the price. So now, they protect their energy like a sacred currency. They don't just go where they're invited. They go where the energy resonates. They don't match the frequency in the room. They hold their own, and either the room rises, or they walk. Part 8. The frequency of integrity. At their core, Sigma INFJs are energetically aligned with one thing: integrity. That's the frequency they carry. That's the reason their presence feels so clear, even when they say nothing. They've done the inner work. Faced their shadows. Made peace with aloneness. And that peace radiates in everything they do. They don't need to defend themselves, because their energy already tells the truth. They don't need to prove their worth, because their presence already reflects it. They are, in many ways, living proof that energy is the real language of authenticity. Conclusion: the unspoken language. The Sigma INFJ doesn't need words to say what they mean. They don't need explanations to be understood. Because those who are meant to understand them will feel them. And those who can't were never tuned to the same frequency. So if you're a Sigma INFJ who's been told you're too intense, too quiet, or hard to read, remember, you're not confusing. You're just speaking a language most people forgot how to hear. Keep your frequency clean. Keep your energy sacred. And trust that the right ones will recognize you long before you ever speak.